the black beast of Mercedes. And indeed, the Silver Arrows has dropped its grade this season for black. The new W14 is surely one of the most intimidating cars that will be on the grid this season. Mercedes was the second to last to reveal its livery for this Formula 1 season. The presentation was done in the flesh to reveal the color as well as the design of the car. No one really believed that the car will have no base color as it is carbon black. So apart from few details, the car has not been painted, but it gives it serious, dangerous and mysterious look which really goes with this Formula season. The return of Mercedes was short and direct in their life to present their engine with the presence of Hamilton and Russell. Of course, their little Mike Schumacher was there too, which gives a smile when seeing him in their outfit. Toto speaking about Mike, he said, "Mike is an important element for us because he has been in Formula 1 car for the last 2 years. He knows the old regulation and the new ones, so he can help us a lot." The brief explanation of Toto and the technical director were on point, Nico, and just what is expected from the audience. Many of us had enough questions about the car, but the ones that kept coming were either about the color or the technical side of the aeropods, which was the revolution at Mercedes. Did they keep it since last year? It was just supposed to be tested, but in the end, it ran the whole 2022 season. Indeed, the car is beautiful. It is well black either on the engine hood or the routed roughly on the front of the nose, since all the corp is out of carbon fiber, and yes, it was not painted. And all this has a reason, only to lighten, since the more it's painted, the more it's heavy. Toto revealed that he wanted to extract every gram since last year they were overweight. He openly announced that either carbon fiber or matte black will be seen on the car. Of course, it's not a mobile bag that we'll see on the grid. The car has green lines on both sides that reflect the sponsor and the white on the rear side. The Mercedes W livery has always had a problem of being overweight, which goes back a long way to about 1934. They scrapped all the paint off the top of the car to lighten it, and indeed, it carried the weight. Hence the nickname, the Silver Arrows, was first heard. We'll see if we call it a carbon arrow this time. Maybe it should win an award so we can put labels on it. Technical director jumped in to answer questions that had not been asked, which explains that they may have done their job. Well, this winter, it's clear that the changes are not very visible on this car, because everything is in the detail. He adds, "We work on the suspension, the floor, and also the underside of the car. So for these changes, we can mention the air intake, which is a little bit bigger with a very rectangular shape. On the side of the pontoon and the hood, it's really convincing change, especially the shape of the pontoon, which is wider and less abrupt, so the airflow will interact together, and the hood, which has changed, so the rear of the car gives a more rounded look. Do we want to compare the new W14 to last year's W13? I don't really think so. So even with all the problems thrown at the W13 last year about the airpods and pontoon, it managed to postpone. So the pontoon problem is not the only problem that has to be managed in order to improve the performance of this car. Certainly the pontoon is quite thin on the car of the last season, but this year, we expect it to be different, even if for this beginning of the season they kept the same design of pontoon, which is not enough for a good performance, Paulo Grand Prix, and made a pool in Hungary. We are monitoring all these changes to make it clear that it's hard and takes a lot of time to be able to make this work. The team has done an incredible job with the internal component, which concerned the radiators, that is buried deeper than it was last year. Second, there is the front wing that was banned in 2022 and is still absent this year, but with the new regulations, we may see it the upcoming weeks. The team will maybe work on it before the preseason in Bahrain. The drivers and mechanics must be at the height of the car if they want to make a good philosophical competition with Ferrari and Red Bull, and why not other teams that will give us a good performance this season. It will give us a version quite unique for the Formula 1 of the season, since there were enough rules and changes this year. Besides, we also how the liveries were, and we can say that every team worked on it to win. So as the technical director explained, the biggest problem was the suspension and the floor of the car, which they went to correct during the time break this winter. So the result was a new front and rear suspension. This goes to limit the porpoising with more space to make more possible adjustment on the car. As for the floor, which has been reviewed on the side of the underneath car, it has been done in other cars of other teams and will be tested and surely modified throughout the season, and will obviously evolve for better performance, hoping that the car is competitive enough. The W14 was designed based on the W13 without a doubt, but what it is sure is that has been revisited, if I may say so, in a way so the airflows reach the diffuser and the beam wing, known as the beam wing. Hopefully this time it will be more wind resistant than last year. If we talk about the pilots now, on the side of Hamilton, can he manage satisfying his anger in the company of Russell? The world champion, will he get his 8th victory this season? Because we understand very well they are looking for the top and the first place according to the state of mind of Hamilton, which is very calm, focused and relaxed. That announces a Formula 1 rather promising for him despite his nightmare of last season. Despite that, this year looks good for him and failure is not the plan we want to fight to win. The total of prizes that Mercedes have won since 2014 is by no means unknown to you, with 7 drivers' titles and 8 constructors' titles. This proves that the team has nothing in their dictionary but victory and success, since they certainly hate to lose while they have everything to win. In other meaning, all elements are provided in the name of a good season, with a few problems with the engine and the car that has no worries. It could scare some. The beast is 30 certainly since last year, and since it's just corrected some point, instead of breaking and rebuilding, it just put some touch-ups without repairing, which is promising for our drivers. Speaking of our two drivers who are so far the most and strongest duo on the grid, with the experience of Hamilton and the fact that Russell is young and not bad. If you add that to the performance of the car, it just put them in an enviable position to put pressure on the other teams. But if the duo turns into a duo, Lewis absolutely wants to win and grab his 8th title, which will accentuate his performance. He will certainly press. On the other hand, Russell on his side will certainly not let go, since we understand that is not in his dictionary, the drop of arms. Tell me, what do you think? George Russell has certainly surprised some and shocked others with his arrival and his performance last year with Mercedes. Maybe we didn't expect this young driver's career, but the guy has made it clear that he is a perfectionist and he wants to win again, and much more than a title, since his performance in 2022 didn't convince him too much, which lead us to doubt what he's going to do with Hamilton, who by the way is more experienced than Russell. As much as anyone, I would like to see them duel against Verstappen rather than with each other. Tell me, what do you think, and what are your predictions on the couple in the comment section? If you have any question, don't hesitate to mention them to us. Thank you for following us, subscribe to our channel, and see you next time.